Hello and welcome to episode number 9 of the Blue Water Running Podcast. I'm your host, Maren, and this podcast features and celebrates the accomplishments of high school and collegiate cross-country and track and field athletes from the Blue Water area of Michigan. Today's podcast is a 2-for-1 special. We will be talking to 2 guests, teammates Luke VanderHeuvel and Grant Gonser of Port Huron Northern. Both runners have set big personal bests in the 800-meter run, breaking the 2-minute mark this spring. Luke's PR is 158.74 and Grant's is 159.01, run at the Mac White Championship on May 10th, where they placed 4th and 5th respectively. Their previous PRs were 2:03 last year. Luke and Grant were part of the 4x4 relay that placed second at their MAC championship, running 3:31, a time that now leads the Blue Water area. Last year, they were part of Port Huron Northern's 4x800 relay team that ran 8:05 to qualify for the Division I state meet. Luke ran his personal best in cross country in 16:24 at the state meet in the fall, while Grant ran his at the MAC championships in 17:34. We'll chat with both gentlemen about the 800 meters, their outdoor season thus far, what they hope to accomplish, and what is next for both seniors. Well, welcome to episode number 9 of the Blue Water Running Podcast, Luke and Grant. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, since we have 2 of you to answer, I'm going to have Luke go first. Grant will then follow, and then anything you want to collaborate on, we'll do that as well. So the first question that I like to kick off a podcast with is, tell us how you first got involved in the sport of cross country and track, and how many years that you have participated.
Yeah, so both my parents were runners in high school. So it's kind of been a family thing. My mom runs as a hobby still. And then I got into middle school and I joined the cross country team because of encouragement from my family. And then once I hit high school, I was still debating if I wanted to. And then my older sister was a senior when I was a freshman, and she convinced me to stick with it.
I started running in 6th grade in the middle school cross country team. I received encouragement from the Maher family, who was currently coaching in middle school cross country. And so I've been running ever since.
Well, for the 2 of you, you are both in your senior season and you're wrapping up the spring and looking towards graduation and beyond. So as you finish out the last track season of high school, what are your big goals and what are you hoping to achieve before you're done?
Yeah, so we definitely talked about it going into the season, like in the winter and early spring. The big one coming up this week is regionals, qualifying for states in the 800. That's something on both of our lists for sure. And even a loftier goal, a school record possibly. It's 156 low, I think. So we still have some more time to shave off, but we might as well go for it senior season. And just in general, just trying to compete to the best I can with the runners I can run against.
Yeah, my goals are really the same as Luke. I want to make it to the state meet, qualify at regionals, and then hopefully break the school record as well.
You've both achieved a pretty big milestone in high school 800-meter running, and that is you've both broken the 2-minute barrier. You've also had major improvements since last year. What do you think have been the major factors in your recent time improvements? For example, is there anything specific you've done differently this year as far as training or mileage, your mindset, your nutrition, or any combination of any of those things?
Yeah, so we train pretty similarly. In the winter, I did not run any indoor meets, but I still ran a little bit over the winter. A lot of times we would work with the sprinters rather than the distance to try and figure out how to move our legs faster for an 800. Our mileage has been low all year. I don't think we've gone over 23 or 24 in a week. And it's even come down since then. Just a mindset. We're seniors. We have a ton of experience in all types of racing. I'm trying to use that to my advantage. I've been running for a long time. And really punting those workouts that we do that, maybe we don't have the highest mileage, but really trying to do the workouts as best we can and get the most out of them.
Yeah, I've been focusing more on speed than mileage as well, and it's been working so far. I've also I've changed up my diet quite a bit. I try and focus on thinking about what the food I put into me would what I could put out with the food that I put in, and that's helped my diet quite a bit.
I'm always preaching that to my own kids, but I'm not sure it's taken root yet. Well, what would be your advice to somebody who has never tried the 800 and maybe they're thinking about giving it a go? What would you suggest they approach it with as far as a mindset? And then what also would you suggest advice-wise for trying to make improvements if they're looking to drop time?
Yeah, the I love the 800 because it feels like such a diverse race. You have kids who run distance who come down for it, and kids who run sprints that come up for it. Like we raced against Drew Graves from Henry Ford, and he's a sprinter, but he comes up and runs a really fast 800 too. And I think the training for either one is different. But as a distance runner, speed work. You have the fitness as a doing cross country and doing those longer races, but learning how to teach your body to run those 27, 28, 200s repeatedly and getting comfortable there, that's how you're going to run those fast 800s. And then on a racing mindset, I like to split the 800 into 200s and kind of progressively work through them and have a different mindset every time I hit the 200 marks.
I would say for somebody new to running the 800, think of it not as half of a mile, but as the 400 two times, because it has to be that fast. Um, when I'm racing, I do the same as Luke. I separate it into quarters, so each 200 I try and hit a certain split. Um, yeah, if you're trying to improve on time, you have to run fast. I like doing 200 repeats as a workout, and I think that's helped a lot this season.
Out of curiosity, as a former 800-meter runner myself, what do you think the last 200 should be called? Like what is your name for the last 200?
Um, I love going into that last 200. It's kind of like even in a four or whatever race I'm running, that last 200, it feels like a switch flips and you don't care about your last one or the next one. It's literally just it. My body hurts really bad right now, but I need to run as fast as possible to finish as best I can.
Hmm. Yeah, the last 200 is just pain and grit. You have to get to the end, and that's the only thing in front of you. So just get there as fast as you can.
I love that, pain and grit. That sums it up perfectly. Would you consider the 200 mark the place to start sprinting, or do you think it comes sooner? Because there's some differing opinions on that in the 800-meter running world.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's. I think everyone does it a little differently. Uh, the kind of common thing is you want a positive split. Like everyone pretty much positive splits. That's pretty normal. Your first 200 is probably going to be your fastest. But that I like to go. I don't have as quite as good foot speed as Grant does, so I like to go around 350, 300 on that backstretch. I kind of start to stride out a little bit, and I try to put a gap on there. But it really does just depend on the person.
Mhm. Yeah, for me, I really like that last 200 and just go really fast for that. But in the future, when I want to run these fast times like 156, I need to start going like 300 meters to go and just stretch that kick all the way till the end.
Do either of you have any plans or interest in continuing to run, whether it's recreationally or competitively, after high school?
Yeah, I'll probably run pretty recreationally. I'll probably join the club track team at U of M, but I do not plan on running anywhere for a scholarship or for an actual college team.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't plan on running anywhere competitively either, but I'll definitely be running in the future. It's just become a lifestyle for me.
Well, piggybacking off of your lifestyle of running, what is one of your best memories or moments from all of your years of sports? And it can be another sport if you prefer.
I've got two. So sophomore year, regionals for cross country was at Anchor Bay, and it had downpoured the past 3 days, and Anchor Bay gets notoriously muddy, and it was very, very muddy. and we were right on the edge of making it to states as a team. And the top 5 of us really just focused up, and we worked really well together the entire race. It was crazy slow. Everyone ran slow, but it was a ton of fun. And I love to talk about this, but all top 5 of us finished within 15 seconds of each other, and we were able to get that 3rd spot and qualify for states. And then just this past year, junior year, we hadn't really done the 4x a ton all year, and we kind of figured it out the week before regionals that we could run a fast 4x8. And it was kind of all or nothing. And we weren't top 2, but we ended up hitting the automatic qualifying for the 4x8. And we were able to make states last year in that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have 2 as well. One of my favorites is qualifying for the state meet in cross country my junior year. It was just the whole team was ready to race. We were all there. It was kind of a different environment than any normal cross country race I would have been to. And then my next favorite is also our 4x8 qualifying at regionals. It was going into the race, it just felt different than all the other races did. And then halfway through, Luke and I had ran the first 2 legs, and we handed off the baton to our 3rd leg at 4 minutes and 2 seconds or something like that. And we just kind of knew that we would hit that time and we would make it to the state meet. So that was pretty incredible.
I remember watching the results pop up on athletic.net, and I think 5 teams from your regional made it. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was an interesting 4x8.
Yeah, that's a lot of automatic qualifiers in one meet, especially D1. So
yeah.
Well, do you guys have a favorite meet, whether it be cross country or track, that you really like to go and compete at?
I like running track more, but I think the vibes around cross country meets are way more fun. This is an unpopular opinion. I really love Cross Lex in August. Nobody's really in shape. The course is not fast, but it's kind of just one of those things where you're not going to run that fast, and you kind of just accept it and you figure out, okay, this is how I feel. It's hot out usually. You feel horrible, but once you're done, you're like, all right, that is a great start to the season. That's a great baseline for some faster courses and being further in shape further into the season. And then um, my favorite invitational is Portage. A bunch of crazy good teams and crazy good runners are there. The hills are a ton of fun to run. The course is great. There's always great competition, and it's right in the middle of fall, right when the air starts to get crisp, and I think that's the perfect cross country environment.
I think my favorite meet would be the late season track meet, the Mitka Champions of Champions meet in Davison. I've only ran there once last year, but I plan on doing it again this year. And it's pretty cool to run there because it's late season, everybody's in shape. Everybody just wants to run as fast as they can, so there's always good competition. And I'm excited to race that again this year.
I feel like for that meet as well, there's not the added pressure of a regional qualifying to get to state, or you're trying to make all state. You just have to run as fast as you can because you want to.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, what are your hobbies and interests outside of track? What do you guys like to do in your spare time when you are not at school, or you're not studying, or you're not running?
Yeah, so at the beginning of January, I stopped running for about a month and a half because I actually am part of the robotics team, and that is in full swing. I am there probably 3 to 4 hours a day, like 6 days a week, for about a 2 month span. And that is a ton of fun. It really got me into engineering, which is what I want to do in the future. I really love the people that I work with. I really love the competitions, and I learned so much from it. And in the summer, I love hanging out in the summer. We run a family berry farm, so a lot of times I'm out in our yard picking berries. And then just outside of that, being outside when it's nice out and hang out with friends as much as possible.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoy just any outdoor activity that gets me active. One of my favorites is volleyball. I'll play that whenever I can, and the local volleygrass tournament is awesome to play in. I really enjoy fishing. I try and fish as much as I can during the summer, and spike ball is another one of my favorites.
I feel like you live in a pretty good place for volleyball and fishing. So
Yeah.
that worked out
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, it did.
Do you have any collegiate or professional athletes you like to follow?
Yeah. My freshman year, the really good runner in the state of Michigan was Hobbs Kessler. Uh, I've kind of been paying attention to his pro career. He did not run collegiately, he went straight pro, which I think was an interesting decision. I think it's really worked out for him too. I really love watching him. He's a crazy good middle distance runner. I love watching the pro races against all the other good runners. The big one is Aaron Brown, Spida. Everyone loves Aaron Brown from Grand Canyon University. He's really funny, and I think he has a different perspective on track. I've been keeping up with Trent McFarland at U of M this year for his freshman season. He has been doing really well, like insanely well for a freshman. He just won the 15 for the Big Ten, which is
Yes.
just insane.
Yes, it is.
And then my cousin-in-law, English Tomlinson now, she's a professional marathoner. So I went down the Olympic trials, and I always love watching her run 25Ks, half marathons, and marathons.
Very cool.
I do not really keep up with the college or professional athletes as much, but I definitely hear Luke talk about Trent McFarland, and it's pretty cool because I've seen him race in high school and I've seen what he can do, and just transferring that into college training and like the results he's gotten is pretty incredible.
Especially for a true freshman. A lot of Big Ten or NCAA D1 schools redshirt their freshmen or kind of acclimate them to a training program. And then they don't really start seeing those kind of results until a couple years in, and he's right out of the gate getting it done. So very impressive. Yeah. All right. Well, one last question to wrap up our conversation. And that is, if you could go for a run anywhere in the world, where would it be and with whom?
Yeah, so this goes back to Grant's favorite memory with junior year cross country. It was an awesome team to be with. Matt Lafreniere, Mike Paletti, Glenn Davis, Luke Maher, Brady Mayer, and then Grant. They were always fun to run with every day. I wish I could still run with them every day. They're, out and about doing whatever, but I would love to run with them. And one place that I've been that I would love to run at is Glacier National Park. Has some really cool trails and some crazy cool sites. So I'd really love to run there.
Although I may not be sure on where I would like to run, I know that 100% I would run with that junior year state qualifying team. That group of guys is just incredible to be with, no matter where we would be.
I have a little bit of agreement with you on that because I see Mr. Davis a lot at my house. He trains with my son when they're both home. So he's a super cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, gentlemen, I would like to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with me and join everyone on the Blue Water Running podcast. And I wish you the best at regionals, and I'll be rooting for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting us. It was a fun time.
Until next time, I'll leave you with two of our guests' favorite quotes. Strive for perfection, but settle for excellence, Don Shula. And success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into today's Blue Water Running podcast. I can't wait to feature more cross-country and track and field athletes from the Blue Water area, so stay tuned because it just might be you. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please share and subscribe and leave us a review. You can find the Blue Water Running podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and other major media players. If you have an idea for a great topic or guest that you would like to hear about, feel free to contact me through the website links or the show notes. You can follow Blue Water Running on Instagram, X, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. You can also find meet and athlete reports and articles at www.bluewaterrunning.org.